Oh, this is it. This is the Jim Lee drawing, and that's him.
Some of these striation lines, I like what they
Jim
did
Lee's drawing right now and talking.
The suit of light kind of bended or more blended with the morphology of the actual aliens, so all the human muscles kind of popped up, and I like some of the design elements that they had going on there. It would be very hard to draw that costume up in a movie on the page.
Again and again and again.
It would be like spider web.
Yeah, you have some real like post-traumatic stress in there.
I do. It's tricky, man. It's tricky. There's nothing harder in comics than doing this. Dude, this is like, oh my god, this is like the worst thing. Anyway, so if you really get into it, and that's easy, but then you get like
all the way over there,
right? And then it's like they reduce in count, and you got to make sure that the number of points is the same. And, it's just a mess. So that scribble there is a very quick approximation of this kind of blending, right? Just kind of abstracted. Same way to draw Charlie Brown, right? That represents hair, the number 2. You're going to draw a perfect circle in perspective, slightly down across the pecs. Which we want. Alright. Done better. Ooh, it's sticking a little bit above. That's the light that, yeah.
There,
exactly.
yeah, there you got it. You got it.
Hold on.
There's always a story element to get you out of the jam.
There we go.
Nicely played.
Okay. Sometimes when you're drawing fists, you want to create as much three-dimensionality as possible. So if you start thinking about your hand like this, right? And you start drawing vertices. Right? Does that make sense? It's like a windmill.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Really watch that.
It is now a solar energy powered windmill.
But a T right here. T
Tens down.
It's all green now. All the energy is from the windmill.
Yeah, right.
So
it's part of our green initiative.
All right. So you do this, and the backside of the fist becomes shadow. And now that instantly pops for the fingers. And then it creates this bend in the form, so it's not just like a fist that's on the forearm, it's actually bent slightly like that. And this whole thing casts a shadow on this column, which is your, I guess, your forearm, and that's going to cut across like that. And that helps sell the three-dimensionality that we're trying to do. Okay, so we go back in and draw draw the shadow. You get decent at it, you can actually start just drawing the shadows, dropping in the shadows. And then right there you can kind of see the rest of it, right? I could be done, right? But no, not me. I gotta have a style that draw everything. Right? I can just go in and drop that shadow, that thumb in there, and put pieces and myself. 3 bars. You know, why wouldn't he be able to create that with money, right?
You feel though you constantly with your style or with the way you approach pages, you're trying to challenge yourself though, just to, or are you, is just everything challenging enough at this point?
No,
I saw the breath you took.
Sure, no. Certainly when you draw at home, you don't have the pressure of people watching you and things like that. But no, I mean, you want to draw the characters. To me, I erase so much because I draw something and it looks like a face, but it might not look like Batman's face. And so it's all anatomically correct, as far as I know. And then I erase it, but it's still, there's something off in the proportion, something off in a very subtle gesture. And I do that for all the characters. So even in the first issue of Justice League, there's a lot of shots of Green Lantern. It looks a little different here and there, and that's just me working out the kinks. I still don't, I have Batman kind of figured out. Green Lantern to me is sort of a work in progress. Superman I've kind of got, Wonder Woman, because I've drawn those characters before, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and in fact, if you look at Hush, the way I drew Batman in that first issue when he comes into the ship, he's this giant granite block of flesh and muscle, and then by the end he was much more lithe and lean and more acrobatic in physique, and that was just me kind of figuring out exactly how I wanted to approach it. So. I usually don't start this way. I start with the eyes and move down, so now I gotta figure this out. I'm gonna start with the chin.
Does pose dictate where you start, or do you always kind of start towards that?
I usually try to start with the eyes because all the emotion typically comes out of the eyebrows and the eyes, so I'll draw the eyes, and if I can nail the eyes, then I feel comfortable moving to other parts of the body. The problem is, like, if you screw up the face and none of this really works, like, people are always looking at the face for the subtle indication of what the emotional context of the scene is, and if you don't get this part right, then you screw it up. And then probably the hands are very important in terms of being a physical representation of the emotional state. The eyes will give you kind of the insight into the soul, but then the hands themselves, the gesture with the arms, is pretty critical. So. It's a little more underdrawn here, so I can screw this up. So, like, even for the nose, I just put the shadow at the side of the nose. It's just a lot easier.
What's that you're using right now?
This is a gigantic pencil. It was gifted to me by Carlos Danda, who did the designs for Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, that's coming out in October. And it uses this giant piece of lead. And the great thing about this is that you can use it as a weapon.
Right.
It also is very sturdy, so you can press down pretty hard, and you can also shade really quickly, right?
Because of the size of the...
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about these kinds of pencils is that it gives you just one type of line. This will give you a semi-point, fairly thick point, and then you can also use the side to, like, get... I like filling in all the spotted blanks on the page.
Right.
Some people just kind of put X's back, fill them in, see how it looks, and see how it kind of creates more three-dimensionality in the form. Like looking a little more suspicious. You know what? It's the bright light coming off the ring.
Yeah, right. It's shooting right at his
How come
nose.
he never winces? How, you know, you gotta figure it's something.
Occasionally he just looks at it.
It's like, oh crap.
That's why he wears the mask. It's like eye black in baseball.
You know, that actually would agree with the reason to wear the mask. Because honestly, I think the cheekbone probably does not do
I'm
much.
surprised he's not like horribly sunburned all the time.
Is there a lot
Nobody knows who he is, but he
takes off the mask and he's got a tan line at the back. Yeah.
Yeah, see, we're thinking now.
Yeah, now we're...
This is second, 8th grade, we're thinking as...
And a lot of times, especially with a thicker marker, you don't want to draw every line. If you just indicate where the lines are, it's not the line of the material, it's the shadow of the mask on the skin. And even like this little hook here on the nose, you know, you can do a nose, and you can draw each nostril, you can draw the planes of those, I don't know what they're called, but if there was a doctor here that would tell me, this plane right here, and then this little middle part of your nose.
Your septum.
Is that your septum? I thought this is your septum.